Thank you for watching today's video. We're going to talk about torpedo grass, and this is going to be a comprehensive video, all things torpedo. So I'm standing in a torpedo grass yard, so to speak. It's really centipede, but there's torpedo grass all dispersed throughout it, unfortunately. But why should you be concerned about torpedo grass? Well, the state of Mississippi, the Department of Agriculture in the state of Mississippi has determined it's a top 10 noxious weed. Yes, our government has a list of the top 10 noxious weeds, and torpedo grass is on that list of all the weeds that are here. It is the one, and it's the only one that we find in lawns, by the way. You know, Dallas grass is a problem, but there's a way to control it, even though it's difficult. But torpedo, you'll see later in the video, it's not a whole lot of options for control. It spreads fast, it can take over fast, not necessarily, but it can. And it's hard to control. That's why it's noxious. Also, you know, you can make your neighbors angry, and the appearance, you know, you may not be able to tell as well from the video, but in person you'll see after you cut it at least kind of a whitish appearance. And so it can just be aggravating for people that just want green and really green and all green and nothing but the green. So that's why you should be concerned about it. Hopefully that gets your attention enough to watch what we're going to talk about today. The best way to know what a grass is by looking at the seed head, because all grasses look like grasses, right? So what does torpedo grass look like? Well, in this picture here, you'll see in the top left is where we have some torpedo grass, a torpedo grass seed head that was on the edge of a bed. So you're not going to see one this big in the yard, but if you have some on the edge of your lawn coming up in your bed, then this can be a helpful way to really know for certain you have torpedo grass. And then the one to the right of that, it's a lot more shrunken. That's also torpedo grass. That was torpedo grass in a yard today. You can kind of see the top part was cut off, but that's what a torpedo grass seed head is going to look like in real life if you pluck it out of the ground and look at it. Bottom left is centipede. These all came from the same yard, so kind of random here, but that's a centipede seed head. In the middle is carpet grass. You got the V with the kicker underneath, and then you have Bermuda grass on the bottom right. So seed heads are a really great way to identify torpedo grass. Again, if you have some that are growing up in a bed, the midrib, it's got a very white midrib going down the middle of the leaf. That's another, not conclusive, but can be a helpful identifier. In the yard, torpedo is going to have a really thick stem, a very thick vertical stem. If you pluck it out of the ground, you know, it's not going to be curved. It's just going to be a very vertical, thick stem, and at the terminal, at the very end, it's going to have a very vertical leaf. That's the best I can tell you over video. Hopefully that will help you. The last thing I'll point to is just this bluish greenish appearance, more so than the other turf types. That's another way that you can identify torpedo grass. And the last thing I'll say is the cut edge on a torpedo grass weed is going to look very frayed, way more frayed than any other grass that's around. Evidently it's a very fibrous leaf, because when it's cut, it's very frayed, and after it's freshly cut, it's going to have this whitish appearance everywhere that you see the torpedo grass. So hopefully that helps. Let us know if you have any questions. All right, there are two main ways that torpedo grass spreads or propagates, takes over, multiplies. One is seeds, and the other is rhizomes. Rhizomes are underground stems. Some people might think of them as roots, but they're stems, and those stems will grow underground no matter what happens up here. Even if you pluck it out, those stems are still going to grow and come up. I've seen them come up 2-3 feet away. You know, pop up over there. You spray and kill it here and it pops up over there. So those two mechanisms are important to understand. One, because by seeds means that mowers can spread them around, and we've seen them, you know, in particular neighborhoods spread more quickly from yard to yard. And then also birds will spread them by seed. And I specifically have hypothesized that geese in particular spread them around, and it was really interesting because just Monday of this week, one of my technicians was telling me about a conversation he had with one of our customers about the torpedo that was coming in the front of his yard out by the road. And he was telling me about how, because I asked, does he have somebody else to mow his yard? And he said, no, actually he mows his own yard. And I said, okay, well, maybe there's a bird that's bringing in the seeds, because I don't know how else it could have gotten there. And he said, actually, he told me that some geese visit this area of his yard. And I said, bingo, I've just simply seen a correlation over the years of when you see geese, you happen to also see torpedo grass there more frequently. And so seeds, underground stems are significant to understand, because if they're in your neighbor's yard, they can come underground. And if they're in your yard, they can go underground under the fence and into your neighbor's yard. So be aware, seeds and rhizomes are the two ways that they will propagate. How to prevent torpedo grass? Not by pre-emerge. You cannot prevent it with herbicides, unfortunately. It's in the same family as Bermuda grass and zoysia grass, and so whatever allows those to grow is going to allow torpedo grass to grow also. But one way that you can prevent it from spreading by seeds is robotic mowing. You know that I send a lot of videos on that, and there's certainly things to be aware of that, robotic mowing is not for everybody and in every situation, but it's certainly something to consider if you're open to that idea, because now you don't have to worry about foreign seeds coming in from other yards. Another idea for preventing torpedo grass would be if your neighbors have it and they have it and you don't have it yet, would be to be thinking about a barrier, whether it's a rock path, a bed. Those would be the two main ways, I guess, to have a significant barrier, not just 1 foot, not even 2 feet. And I would even say, while you're at it and you're serious about it, let's do some literature research to make sure of this, but 4 or 5 feet is really where I would be thinking that you need a significant border pass around your yard, so that when it does come in, you can catch it and kill it before it actually gets into your grass, because once it's in your grass, there's no way to prevent it. The only other method of prevention is just scouting, keeping a watchful eye, walking the yard. If you're not able to walk your yard, asking your mowing guy to make sure he keeps an eye out for it. Tell him about our videos so that he can be familiar with what torpedo grass looks like, because that's literally the only other way you're going to be able to prevent it, is to just keep out a watchful eye, scouting for it, making sure that you're aware of what it is and what it's not. All right, so you have it. What do you do about it? One is to watch. We have another video that's dedicated with some more information at length of the treatment options that are available. So make sure you go check out that video. Suppression is one of the things in those videos that I'll touch on real quick, so suppression is one of the ways that you can deal with it, but we really try to steer clear of suppression. Suppression is a type of weed control that's not eradication, it's suppression. It just makes it disappear, and we really try to encourage our customers not to go that route, because even though it makes it disappear for a couple months in the summertime, it's going to be right back to square one. And so yes, there are herbicides. It'll be on the label. It'll say it can control it. But what you need to know about herbicide labels is control can mean eradication or suppression. And every herbicide on the market, I assure you, it can only suppress at best, which means it disappears and then it comes back. So suppression is a way to deal with it, and we do have a handful of customers that we suppress it for them, but it will be back to square one next year, full strength. So it is a type of control. Another type of control is eradication, and so that's where you kill it, but the only way that you can eradicate it is if you kill everything. And so if you have a yard where it's everywhere, that's not a control method. I mean, yeah, you can kill the whole thing and hope it doesn't come back through your sod, but all the research that you read that the university professors have done on this is they're going to always recommend digging it out, and that can just be not economical to dig out. I'm not sure the exact amount of inches or feet down into the ground they say you have to dig it out, but because of those rhizomes, you have to really be aggressive if you want to have a promise that it's not going to come out. I have heard of people who have successfully, sprayed something like Roundup to kill the torpedo grass and then put new sod, and it hasn't come back now for years. So that is a potential, but eradication is a type of control. The only other thing there is to say about controlling it is welcome to your new grass. Like there is, if suppression and eradication are not options for you, then you just have to say that this is my grass, and it is a grass, and it does a good job of keeping weeds out, and welcome to your new grass, unfortunately. The only other thing to say about torpedo grass in this video is the fact that university research is ongoing. Some have stopped their research because they just can't, they've run out of funding. They don't know how to get this out, but there are certainly universities around the country that are still actively trying to figure out how to get torpedo grass out of a yard. Unfortunately, there is no good answer right now, so hopefully this video will help you to know how to be preventive and how to be aware of it. And please let us know if you have any questions. We'll catch you next time.